Hey everyone, it's me, Miss Novaline, and today we're going to talk about our henna. So, Lush Henna is pressed into these cute little blocks inspired by tea blocks that were used in trading. So all of the henna is pressed with cocoa butter, so it moisturizes and it gives you immaculate color. Our henna comes in 4 different colors. We have the rouge, which is a red. We have the marron, which is kind of like a chestnut. It's a cross between a brown and a red. We have the brun, which is a chocolatey brown, and the noir. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. And the noir, which is like a really dark, rich black. So, to go over our ingredients, I'm going to take off the rouge. All of them are blended with cocoa butter and the finest Iranian henna. Mark Constantine, he's one of the founders of the company, and he's like a herbal trichotologist. He feels that the best henna color comes from Iran. So we have, particularly in the rouge, we have red henna, obviously, cocoa butter, of course, to moisturize, organic lemon juice, which brightens the color, powdered rosemary, which is lovely for the health of the scalp, clove bud oil, which richens the color, and that's it, actually. All the other little bits naturally occurring when you use the essential oils. Essentially, when you mix 2 essential oils, sometimes you get a 3rd ingredient that just kind of happens when you mix them. And then it's kind of the same with the rest of them. So the brun has coffee and a little bit of indigo in it to make it nice and dark. The marron has a bit of coffee again. And then the noir just has a whole ton of indigo. Indigo is a natural blue flower, which kind of counterbalances the red to make it look black. To have a look at our hennas here, they are pretty darn easy to use. You actually melt it a little bit like chocolate. Essentially, you get a pot of hot water and then you get a glass dish, just like with chocolate. You put your henna block into the glass dish and then you add a bit of boiling water to the henna itself as well. After that, you just slowly start to melt it down and it becomes thick like a paste. You want it about the consistency of pancake batter, and then you just apply it to the hair. If you apply it to the hair hot with the red or with the marron, you'll get more of the red colors. Think hot henna brings out the fire in your color. If you apply it more when it's colder and let it go cold on your hair, you'll get darker, deeper shades like the brun, like the noir. Those ones you probably want to leave uncovered to get them a little bit darker. So you can apply them with a brush, you can apply them with your hands, it's totally up to you. So after that, you want to leave it on for a minimum of 2 hours. A lot of instructions will say at least an hour, but during the process of the henna, it actually oxidizes, and particularly with the black, if you take it off too soon, your hair could potentially be green, which you don't really want. So you might as well just leave it on another hour. Put a movie on. 2 hours is nothing. And then after that, you just rinse it out. Now, I used to do the henna, so my top tip would actually be to rinse your hair for quite a long time and then just let the henna sort of fall from the hair. And then after that, you can lather it up with your shampoo and your conditioner and rinse it out. And then your color will actually continue to develop for probably 2 or 3 days after that. Now, as far as colored hair is involved, like if you've used a chemical dye, chemical dyes work a little bit differently from henna. Henna just stains the hair, a bit like varnish, a bit like on wood, you know, it just stains the hair, it just goes on the outside of the cuticle. With a chemical dye, they actually enter inside of the hair itself, and it creates these holes in your hair. That's why with a chemical dye, your hair tends to lose its texture changes. It goes really like frizzy because you're essentially putting holes in your hair and then shoving a color into it. And because of this, you really shouldn't do henna over chemically dyed hair, because what it does is your hair already has holes in it. So it's sending the henna, which is quite a big molecule, into the hair where it's not really supposed to be, and it swells inside the hair. So it can potentially make your hair very brittle. It can change the texture of the hair, the color might not last, and you can't guarantee what sort of color you're gonna get. However, that being said, I used to flip-flop between henna and chemical dye, kind of as long as I stayed within the same sort of color, and I did totally fine with it. My hair was normally in pretty good condition. but you do have to be pretty careful, especially with using a chemical dye over top, just because again, it can do the same thing and it can mess with the color that you're going to get from your chemical dye just because of the color that's underneath it. So you do have to be a bit careful. If you do have colored hair, definitely do a strand test. Like, it's not worth it if it messes around with your hair. But as I said, in my experience, I haven't had any trouble. So, but yeah, it's been a few years since I hennaed my hair though. It's been probably about 3 years. So if you have any comments or questions, please pop them down below. I love the henna. I love chatting about the henna, so I can always tell you whatever you need to know about it. Yeah, so I'm Miss Novaline. Like and subscribe for more like this, and I'll see you soon.